Thank you very much, Guruji, for again meeting with us. And we were really impressed with our discussion yesterday on the tradition of yoga, on its origin, and how yoga is considered to be a science of self-realization. And today we were specifically interested to ask you a few questions about asanas and about this practice. So if you kindly explain us what is asana.
Well, practice of asana is the beginning point of practice of Ashtanga Yoga. Sage Patanjali has given 8 limbs of yoga. Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Yam and Niyam, they are put first, but it is not physical, it is more mental. So it is not considered to be a part of Hatha Yoga. Asana is the first limb of Hatha Yoga. Asana, pranayam, even Shat Kriyas, which are not mentioned by Patanjali, and mudras, bandhas, they form part of Hatha Yoga. And the culmination of Hatha Yoga is Pratyahar. When one reaches Pratyahar, there Hatha Yoga ends. And then Raj Yoga begins. So Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi, they are included in the Raj Yoga. So for Hatha Yoga, asana is the first step. Actually, Hatha Yoga is a practical part of yoga. Raj Yoga is mental part of yoga. Practical in the sense of physical practice. Raj Yoga is all mental practice. Then Hatha Yoga is not required. Actually, the author of Hatha Yoga Pradipika has given one stanza in it that I am elaborating Hatha Yoga with a view to obtain an entry in the Raj Yoga. So without passing through the phase of Hatha Yoga, one cannot gain entry into the Raj Yoga. Means, without perfecting the body, physical body, there cannot be entry into the mental yoga. What is happening nowadays is everybody is interested in mental yoga, but they forget that before entering the mental yoga, he has to get perfection in the physical part of the yoga. And so, for the physical practice, asana is the first step. So practice of asana is very important for the yoga aspirant. If one wants to become a yogi, one has to start with practice of asana. Pranayam is the next step. But the yogic texts suggest that asana jay kuryat tat paschat pranayamam samabhyaset. This is Sanskrit. It means that first gain mastery over the asana and then begin the practice of pranayama. Though we do both at a time, because we are not conversant about the impact of asana, impact of pranayama, etc. So initially, when we practice willfully, then asana and pranayama can both be practiced. But when sadhana becomes spontaneous, yoga practice becomes natural and spontaneous, automatic, then the course is first asanas, then the pranayamas, and like that. So, asana is very important because it's a starting point. Now, asanas are many. Our literature, yoga literature says there are 8.4 million asanas. 8.4 million. But nobody knows so many asanas, and we do not have even enough names of all these asanas. So scriptures have put a theory by saying that only Lord Shiva knows all this. So others need not worry about 8.4 million. But present day yogic texts which are available with us, like Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Yoga Vasishta, Guruksa Samhita, Dharana Samhita, Shiv Samhita, all these textbooks which talk about yoga, and there are some Upanishads also, Yoga Shikhopanishad, Yoga Tattvopanishad, all these talk about asana. But all told, if you collect the number and names of asana of all these yogic textbooks, you will hardly find 84 asanas. Out of 8.4 million asanas, the yogic texts speak about 84 asanas only. I think for us they are sufficient at our level. Though in my book I have given more than 500 asanas. Because origin of asana is out of the spontaneous practice of yoga. Then all the asanas will manifest. If 8.4 million asanas manifest in our sadhana, then we are equivalent to Lord Shiva. But that's a far cry. So, but we may be satisfied that at least we go beyond 84, which are mentioned in the textbook. So, during my sadhana, whatever I have experienced, whatever asanas I have manifested, I have included in my book on Hatha Yoga. But let us first concentrate on 84 asanas only. Now, asana, as everybody knows, are yogic postures, physical forms of our body formation. And they can be classified into two types. One, cultural asanas, where there is exercise, and other is meditative asanas, where stability is required, no movement, just formulate asana and then sit steady in it. They are for meditative purposes. First, we must concentrate on the practice of cultural postures, because they help us in purifying our body and the channels in the body. That is called Nadi Shuddhi. Nadi means our channels in the body. Intestine also is a channel. Nothing, even from heart, veins and arteries are channels. From nervous system, nerves are channels. So this body is full of channels. And there are so many channels, millions of channels. But texts say there are 72,000 channels. Out of those 72,000, only 14 are important. So bother about 14 only. But those 14 are the channels of our subtle body, not of the physical body. So first we must purify the physical body. So there are many channels, we know, doctors know. We have veins, arteries, nerves, how many channels? Even digestive system is full of intestine and all channels. So first physical channel should be cleared, and then comes the turn of purification of the subtle channels in the subtle body. That apart, asanas help in purifying the physical channels. And so physical purification is first. Pranayama helps in purifying the subtle channels. That is the next step. So I wanted to emphasize that first step is asana, next step is pranayama. Though often we practice both together initially, not wrong also. At least the breathing has to be improved, and breathing has to be specific in every asana also. Asana is the only exercise where you have to put emphasis on proper breathing. In other exercises, take games, swimming, running, even gymnastics, all other physical fitness exercises, they don't bother about breathing. Breathing will be what it will be. But in practice of asana, in each asana, the technique of breathing is prescribed. And if we practice asana only as a physical exercise without giving proper attention to the mode of breathing, then asana will help physically, for physical fitness, but not for physical purification. If asana has to be performed for the sake of physical purification, then it has to be with a specific mode of breathing. And you look into my book, Classical Hatha Yoga. In every asana, certain specific breathing technique is also prescribed. So, apart from breathing, mental focusing also is very essential in asana. While performing a particular asana, where your mental focus inside the body should be. So, during the description of technique, you will also find that keep your mental focus here during this asana. So, asana is not just mere exercise, it's a very special technique. It's a technique for building up not only physical well-being, but also mental well-being and the spiritual well-being. Though more it helps the physical well-being, but part of it is devoted to mental well-being and the spiritual well-being. Any other exercise will not contribute to your mental efficiency, mental faculty, or even spiritual development. They are purely for physical. Secondly, physical exercise apart, the breathing technique along with it, breathe, we fast. When we do other exercises, we breathe fast. But when you do pranayama, you are not to breathe fast. If you practice pranayama for an asana for 1 hour, all of you will experience that your breathing is not very fast. You don't get fatigue, tiredness. But if you do any other exercise, even for 10 minutes, you start breathing. Run only 50 meters, then you have to breathe fast. This is the difference between yogic asana and other exercise. So asana is very important and it should be performed with proper technique.
Yeah. So basically speaking, this experience that we do yoga for 2, sometimes even 3 hours, and then by the end of the practice, especially after Shavasana, you're kind of like getting up and thinking, well, things like I didn't do anything,
Yes,
I didn't
yes.
practice, but it's already 3 hours past or 2
In
hours past.
Shavasana, sometimes you can't even make out whether you are breathing at all. Breath becomes so slow.
Guruji, could you please mention if somebody is practicing asanas properly in prescribed way according to Guru's teaching, what should be the immediate effect of the practicing asanas? Can we judge whether I did practice of asanas properly based on that? You know, like some certain practical experiences or effects.
There are many advantages even of willful practice of asana. It contributes to the strengthening of your prana energy, which in future is going to be your investment for the future progress in yoga sadhana. So prana energy is very important, and asana, even if you do willfully, it strengthens your prana. It is like fuel. If you have a motor car and if you have only 1 liter of petrol in it, how far can you go?
Not far.
If you have 5 liters in your tank, you can go further. If you have 10 liters, you can still go further. So, prana is our petrol for progress on the path of yoga sadhana. So, more prana, stronger prana, our tank is full with the petrol and energy, so you can go far on the path of yoga. So, asana, the best effect of it is this. There are other minor effects also, because the practice of asana is not merely helping the muscles, it also helps the secretion of the endocrine gland. Even tendons are toned up, inner organs are toned up, which is not the case in other exercises. Other exercises is done with a pressure and or exertion, then the organ can be damaged also. In practice of asana, no organ will ever be damaged if you practice properly. Not only that, those organs will be toned up, and even if they are not functioning well before you start practice, they will start functioning better. So these are special effects, and secondly, it also helps in calming your mind. Your mind becomes serene after practice of asana. But when you run like Usain Bolt, your mind will be blown off. You are only aware of body.
Guruji, is it possible for me on my level of a beginner practitioner to feel that the practice of asanas strengthened my prana increased my prana?
Well, to recognize prana, to know it, to be aware of it, all these things are very difficult. They are part of stages, but only from the theoretical point of view, know that prana is very essential in the practice of yoga sadhana. To really know what is prana is very difficult. Even in later stage of sadhana, prana is very difficult to be really known. But one can be aware of it. When the spontaneous yoga practice begins, one can be aware of prana energy, that's okay. Awareness is just not total knowing. Awareness is like some new goods are available in the market and you see the first advertisement either in newspaper or on your TV channel, then you become aware that there is some such thing in the market. But awareness doesn't mean you have used it and you have derived the benefit. So awareness is possible. And then as you practice and utilize that energy will give you the knowledge what it is. And then slowly you will understand what is prana.
I see. So it seems that for the strengthening of prana during the practice of asana, we have to perform it correctly through the proper breathing techniques. And as you mentioned, you have a whole book of more than 500 asanas. So to understand correctly, every asana would have its own specific breathing technique. It's not like just deeply breathe in and breathe out.
You see, just by seeing the picture of a posture, generally in many present-day yoga classes, there are charts hanging on the wall. This is the posture of asana. So look at the picture and just copy it. Try to copy it. And you feel you know the asana. No, you know the form, posture, form. And you are trying to imitate it, but you don't derive the real benefit because you are not performing it as asana, as a particular posture form. So merely by following the pictures, one cannot learn. So for learning even willful practice of asana, learn asana from a teacher who knows all this proper technique. And proper technique is available in some books. I can assure you that my book carries 500 asanas and all of them with proper technique. And I say it on basis of my own personal experience. You will be surprised. Before I met my Guru and became his disciple and became a sannyasi, I had willfully practiced pranayama and asana for 17 years.
17?
17 years, one said. And I feel that it was not a waste because my prana had become so strong that when I met my Guru and he initiated me, my progress was very fast. My Guru always congratulated me that I was progressing faster than what he did himself. So it was a great solace for me.
Since Guruji mentioned about, he was mentioning if asanas practiced properly, not even internal organs ever going to be damaged. Would you please explain us what is proper and vice versa improper practice of asanas? How a person can properly practice?
The first thing is that for other exercises, you see force, jerk, vigorous effort and pressure, all these things are needed. Take gymnastics, take games, even simple games, running, jumping. Everywhere there is jerk, otherwise no world record. In asana, jerk is not appreciated. Slow, steady, flowing movement without jerking, without over-exerting, what is natural. So that is the difference between this exercise. So a proper practice is without any jerk, without overstraining anything. Do up to a point till you feel you are comfortably able to do. Slight exertion, of course, is necessary, but not beyond. One cannot be in haste of perfecting the asana. If you go on practicing it over a long time, any asana can be perfected. Our body is not wooden. Our body is not made of stone. Wood and stone cannot be bent. But we are leather, if not rubber. And leather can be bent. It can be, and leather can be little stretched also, no? Can be made loose. So try, and leather will be loose someday. Then your posture will reach slowly, perfection. So haste is also not necessary. Jerk is not necessary. Step by step, slowly, train your body to become flexible and supple. And that is the great advantage of yoga exercises, asanas. Other exercises perhaps will make your body stiff and tough, but here stiffness and toughness are not necessary. Flexibility and suppleness are necessary in the practice of asana. So that is proper practice of asana. Secondly, as I told you in other exercises, you don't have to control your breathing. That breathing will, what it will be. All of you will run, and I can't control the breathing of all of you, and you can't control too at that time. Everybody has his own way of breathing. So there is no prescription about it. Here, for everybody, if 100 people are practicing, the breathing is prescribed. Do breathing like this. Now inhale. While doing this, exhale, withhold. Every step, breathing is prescribed. So that is proper practice. Proper practice, if it is done, then it will bring out mental well-being and spiritual well-being apart from physical well-being. Other exercises, if you do even properly, it can bring only physical well-being. Otherwise, all gold medalists of the Olympic must be spiritually very high, mentally very intelligent, but it's not so.
You actually touched very interesting topic about the spiritual side of the asana practice, but I can understand that it gives you physical benefit and also it gives you some mental solace or peacefulness.
Yes.
But what would be the spiritual element in the asana practice? How I can understand the spirituality in the asanas? How would it manifest?
Yes. For that you must first understand what is spirit. not the spirit that we get in the bottle. The spirit is the soul within. Atman, soul. That is our spirit. And that spirit is not visible with these dual eyes, physical eyes. So we will never see it with these eyes, but we can realize it with inner eye during meditation and samadhi. That is self-realization. When you see your own spirit or soul in the form of light within, that is self-realization. But it's a very late stage. Till you know that spirit, you must know the energy of spirit. And that is prana. And that we have taught that it helps the strengthening of prana. And prana as an energy, prana cannot be seen. If we say prana is a form of vayu, the wind, we breathe and derive prana out of it. Modern science says you breathe air and derive oxygen out of it. And in our language, in Indian language, oxygen is translated as pran vayu. Oxygen, gas. Pran is oxygen, vayu is gas. But when it is gas, it is pran vayu. But pran is not gas, then it becomes energy. Energy derived from what? From the soul, spirit. So spirit is spirit. Its energy is prana. I will explain with an analogy. We all know sun. Sun is millions of miles away from us. Sun doesn't come running to the earth, but the energy of sun reaches the earth. And what are those energies?
Heat and
light. Heat and light. We teach in physics as energy. Heat, light, even sound. Because that travels and reaches. Now, can you separate heat and light from sun?
Of course not.
It is part of it. Sun doesn't, sun is a physical shape we are seeing with the eyes, but its energy spreads and that you cannot see with your own eye. We see things in the light, but we can't see the light itself. Your camera is taking my picture. My face is away from the lens, but in between there is light. Camera cannot catch the light, it can catch the object on which the light falls. So you cannot really catch energy, but you can catch the energy when it falls on some part of your body and it moves. For example, I am moving my hands while talking, moving my tongue for talking. How does it move? With the help of prana energy. When my soul will leave my body, energy will live with the soul, spirit, and only body will remain as a corpse here. You are listening, trying to understand, moving your head like this. All that is done by the help of prana energy. You were asking me, how can one know prana? Now you know. But you can't see it. You can be aware of it, you cannot see it. So that pranic energy is useful and asanas help it.
So this awareness of energy, prana, while performing asanas, that is the spiritual side
Yes.
of the
So
exercises.
when you willfully practice asana, whether you know or not, whether you become aware or not, whether you mentally understand it or not, prana energy becomes strong. And that is what is needed for purification of the body. Soul is the most purifier thing. Body is full of filth and dirt. But everybody likes our body. We like each other. Simply because prana is in it. Once the prana of a person leaves the body, look, even our own ancestors, our parents, our brothers, sisters, when they die, do we keep them in our home? Do we love them?
Carry them out.
Why?
Feels. Yes.
What is lacking in them?
Life. No life.
Prana. Because the soul is gone with the prana energy. In India we say like that. When a man dies, we don't say that the soul has left the body. We say prana has left the body. It is the same, you see. Life force. I translate in my books prana as life force. And the soul is life giver, spirit is life giver. So when we talk about the spiritual benefit, it is strengthening of prana. Our spirit inside should assert itself that you are spirit, not this body. But we always introduce ourselves as body. I am Rajarsi Muni, I am Sargay, I am so and so. But nobody says I am my spirit.
Guruji, you was mentioning about the practice of asanas as without overexertion, without jog, just slowly, smoothly perform the asanas. But at the same time, you're also mentioning that in order to master asana and achieve that state, asanjai, or mastery over asanas, you were saying that you need patience and perseverance, like very being staunched in that practice. So seemingly it's quite relaxed practice. Why do you need these two qualities? Because nothing to tolerate. Because when I'm hearing these things, I feel like there must be some jog, there must be some push to it.
No. Even in cultural postures, no jerk or pushing is necessary. That's the proper technique, and that one must learn. But in meditative posture, no effort is required. On the contrary, what posture is assumed should be perfectly steady, without even slightest movement, but without putting. When we are not of a high standard in yoga, and we want to sit steady, you can sit steady for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. After that, pain will start here, pain will start here, pain will start in the knee, this. But you say, oh, I am meditating, so I can't move. So you become more unhappy. Until you become miserable, you continue it. That's foolishness. Don't bother about those meditative postures first. Cultural postures make your prana strong, and prana itself can make you steady.
Mm-hmm. Then what is?
Prana has many stages. Initially prana is weak in every one of us. Prana is there because soul is there. But everybody is not same, in the same proportion, everybody is not energetic. Some are lethargic. Not that Atma is weak, Atma of every one of us is the same. Its strength or weakness is the same in everybody. But our outer nature, the physical covering over it, somebody is physical covering with his lethargic, more full of tamas. Somebody's case is full of rajas, overactive, and some sattvic, so cool, slowly going. Slow and steady wins the race, like that. So sattva is the best. But you can't be so slow that you become lethargic and just idle and sleep. That also slowest. One who is idle is the slowest person, but that also is not required. You see, alertness is required, but not overactivity. So, our prakriti is full of either tamas or rajas or sattva. Tamas and rajas will remain for long, many, many years. But our aim is to go to this sattva quality. And when sattva quality increases, then your asana automatically will achieve steadiness, and at that time cultural postures are not needed. Then there is importance of meditative postures. Many of the textbooks give only meditative postures. Gita has not mentioned many, but it has mentioned at least 2 postures. Shiv Samhita is giving all these yoga, but it has mentioned only 4 asanas. So, but some books have mentioned more cultural postures too. So it doesn't mean that this textbook is useless. Every textbook has its own framework. It has dealt only with that. Like Patanjali, everybody talks about Patanjali. And Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayama, is mentioned in Patanjali's book. But has Patanjali mentioned any name of even single asana?
No.
Has he given any single pranayama how to practice? No, it's a book at the level of samadhi. So I don't degrade Patanjali. Patanjali is for PhD degree. But we are not in PhD study class. We begin in the first class, the first schooling. So for beginners, cultural postures are very important. Some cultural postures start with an easier, which are of a preliminary nature. In my book, I have classified even postures, all 500 postures, that these are for the beginners. Next stage for the intermediate students, so many postures, and for the advanced students, so many postures. So postures should be practiced in this according to the level of our progress. If we study like this methodically, it helps us much more. Otherwise, if we don't go according to the methodical prescription of course of study, then we waste more energy, more time without deriving enough benefit.
So, since we mentioned sage Patanjali, I also had this question about the asanas. Is it possible to achieve the stages of meditation or superconsciousness without the first practice of asanas? And if not, why?
No, even Patanjali says no. How can I say yes? But for those who are seeking shortcut, they will always have this question in mind. But the answer is only one that I have given. if a small child of 5 years, we take that child to school after he finishes 5 years of age, and then he gets admission in this school. Now if some parent says to the principal of the school that I want to make my son a doctor, so I want him to be admitted in the doctor's degree course. What will the principal say? Yes, your son can become a doctor. You admit him in this primary school. After he passes the primary school classes, then he will be admitted into a higher school. And then if he qualifies in that also, he will be admitted into a college. And at that time, you take the branch, select the branch of medicine. So your son can become a doctor, but preliminary state is the same for all to go through. Now, we want admission into samadhi, if possible. If not, then in meditation, but nothing less than that. In yoga, we say that. In other schooling, other studies, we know the rules and don't insist of going into the higher class without passing the lower classes. But in yoga, everything is possible. That is what we think, but it is not so.
No jumping over.
No jumping. There is no shortcut.
Well, then naturally the question comes, what would be my symptoms when I master the asanas or postures? Like, what would be the symptom of me being qualified for the further stages?
Mastering of asana is, as some yogic texts mention, that if you can sit in a posture quite steady without movement, but at the same time without feeling fatigue or pain anywhere into the body, as if like you have forgotten your body, then you have mastered the asana. Sit for 3 hours, and if you don't feel pain at all, then you have mastered. But you will feel the pain because you are counting how many hours are gone. Half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Somehow catch hold for 3 hours and you claim that I have mastered. You see, such mastery will come when you have totally forgotten your body. Means your consciousness is not with the physical body, but it is linked with the subtle body. So all this automatically comes as a stage in yoga. Then you can say you have mastered the asana. For mastering the asana, it is not to be performed. When you come into oneness with the subtle body, in whatever posture you are, is that asana. And then it is Patanjali's asana, sthira, sukham, asana. He has not said that sit in such a position. He has only said, in whatever position you are, you should be steady and without any fatigue, any pain, sukh, happy. Even you might be sleeping and you have mastered the asana. So savasana also is an asana. You lie on one side like Lord Vishnu reclining on the bed of serpent. He is reclining always. So it is a steady asana. So he has mastered that asana. So Patanjali has not described that you take right leg, put your right foot here and left foot here, and all those methods are beyond Patanjali. Asana, you see. Patanjali's asana is the mastery of asana.
So does it...
But I say only 3 hours, but the yogis sit for years together. We have a common saying, I don't think scriptures might have written like this, but that Lord Shiva, who stays in Himalaya, he once said, "Oh, Parvati, I am hungry, so give me some food to eat." Of course, he never becomes hungry and he doesn't require food. But popular saying, just to convey some meaning. So Parvati, Shiva's spouse, said that, okay, I will go to the kitchen and prepare food for you and you can eat it. So Parvati went for cooking. After cooking, food was ready and she came with the food. And Shiva entered into samadhi. Now Parvati waited till he comes out of samadhi. 84,000 years passed. What will happen to the food? So that is Patanjali's asana. Thira Sukham asana. Forgetfulness about this. Then who is bothered about asana, you see? Only Sergey can be bothered if he takes a camera. But the person who is in that asana, he doesn't bother about it. Because he is not with the body, he is not with the outer world. He is within his own bliss. So, when you reach that stage, you will have no question. You will not require photography also. And you will not require explanation also.
So this quality is Thiram Sukham, asanam, to any asanas out of 84 lakhs or 8 million asanas. You can apply this quality Thiram Sukham
Yes.
to, if
You
master
are in
asana.
headstand and you enter, then you will remain in headstand. 84,000 years.
Nothing wrong will happen. Guruji, can you explain us why the consciousness, like if I sit right now in samasana, I can feel pretty comfortable for 3-4 minutes.
3-4 minutes,
but why consciousness?
You will start evaluating. Have I mastered? Have I mastered? No, you have not. Remember me. And you will understand that you have not mastered.
But why consciousness is not getting withdrawn in my position right now?
Because physical body is not purified yet. First our task of any aspirant of yoga, purification of the channels of the physical body. Then comes the turn of subtle body. And then you will know what is causal body. And then when you know all the 3 bodies and leave that also as useless, then you will be one with the soul. That is the objective of samadhi. So if you want to learn yoga, real yoga is this only. You can make it cheap quick, instant, but that's for our livelihood, not for our spiritual elevation. If we want to do practice yoga for spiritual elevation, then you have to pass through all these things.
So being slim, no pimples, nice skin, it doesn't really mean that your channel through the physical body are clean.
No.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
And when channels are clean, consciousness automatically withdrawn from the body.
Everything, you say spirituality, prana, as the degree of purification of body increases, all the rest becomes powerful and takes us up. We ascend on the path of yoga. But ascendance is not so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Look, India has sent a Sputnik, your Russian word, to the planet of Mars. It is now on way to Mars. It has left the Earth atmosphere and now it is in open space. After 10 months it will reach Mars. Even modern science has to keep patience. Nothing instantly happens. Yoga is going beyond time and space. How much time will it take? So, if you have impatience in your nature, then take it from me, you are not fit for this path of yoga. Patience and perseverance, two things I say in practice, not in theoretical understanding. In practice, patience and perseverance, that can lead you further.
Somebody dedicates his life to the practice of asanas. Is there any time frame, like how usually it would take? Like 1 year, 2 years, 10
No.
years?
Different individuals have their different time. Everybody's nature differs in some way. Look, we admit hundreds of students in one class, one level. How many are bright and how many are dull and how many are mediocre? How many progress? How many have to fall out? How many become PhD, the final level? So in this also, it is so, as I would quote a stanza from Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam vyati tattvata. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that there are thousands and thousands of seekers. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Out of thousands and thousands of people existing in this world, few, you see, turn towards this path of seeking liberation. If they are also thousands, the seekers, out of them also hardly one attends to me. Only one succeeds out of so many people. So it must be difficult. If somebody claims that he has come, we have found a technique which is very easy, instant, quick, people will run. It's a good advertisement. But there is no truth in it. So if one is genuinely wanting to make progress on this path. Except that it is not easy because the scriptures have said, the sages have said, no sage has said anywhere that it is so easy. And that is why moksha purushartha is the highest of the human endeavor. This is meant only for few who are really of renunciate nature. Because this also is a full-time job. You have to devote more time. You can't do part-time job there and part-time here. And that is why in India we have made the arrangement of an order, sannyas order, that society supports them. They have not to bother about their livelihood, so that they can devote all their time after this. Some people from West and other countries, as you came from Russia, some of them asked me that why yoga is developed in India, why yogis are more in India. Can there not be yogis in the West? I said, there can be. Wherever there is a human being, there is a scope of becoming a yogi. Only qualification to become a yogi first is to have a human body. In animal body, in the body of a bird or an insect, it is not possible to do yoga. Only human body is the proper vehicle for doing it. So in the West also there are people, in the East there are people, in the North there are people, in the South there are people. So wherever there is human being, there is a possibility that somebody can become a yogi. But at the same time, I tell them that no, in West there will not be yogi. Why? Not only West, in other. You must have a society which supports a person who wants to devote his life for this purpose. Ever since I became a sannyasi, I have not to bother for my livelihood. Society supports me. So here, once you take sannyas initiation, society never questions him, why are you not earning money, why are you begging? Of course, our need should be very scarce. If people give more, it is their pleasure, but we cannot claim. But then we can do sadhana, because then I have no responsibility of maintaining myself. Then what should I do? I can't cheat people, I have to do sadhana and show them that I am utilizing their support properly. So it's a binding too, but it's a facility too. I'm sure Sergey in Russia can never become a yogi, but Sergey in India can become a yogi. Indians are not that way thinking that he is from other country, he is from other religion. This is a license. If I give these clothes to you, no Indian will question. And they will support you for your livelihood. You see, this country has this sort of a culture. That culture is needed. If that culture is everywhere in the world, there will be yogis in all parts of the world. Why not?
Okay. What would be the main first difficulties we would face on this path of yoga when we start seriously practicing it?
The first difficulty is this, as I told you. Where you practice is important. If you practice in your own country, I am doubtful whether you can spend or devote more time to this practice. I know all of you are sincere seekers, but all of you will face this problem first in your country. Suppose somebody has enough money, even if one has not to do any job, any business, just put your money in the bank and you, whatever interest you get out of that, you can manage your life. If some people are of this sort, then another difficulty for them, first difficulty is solved, because they are not to beg. It is out of the interest of their own money that they are supporting themselves. So society should not worry about that. But then for him another obstacle will be whether he really devotes time or becomes idle and lethargic, not today, tomorrow. Now, who can solve that problem except himself? So our genuineness as an aspirant will be another question there. That difficulty is not created by others, not by any outer factor, but our own mind, the tamas in our mind, tamas quality in our mind. And second difficulty, if in us, in our nature, rajas is prominent, he needs some activity. Then he has to meditate, it's time for meditation. But then somebody says, oh, I need your help in this. So because that's an easier task, you go to help people and leave this sadhana. That is, you are leaving sadhana because of rajas. Your interest, once you become a renunciate, then God will take care of everybody as God takes care of you. So why do you go and help him? There are many to help him. God at least will help him. But we take it on us that without my help, what will he do? Because that is convenient to us. We want to escape from sadhana and do that job. You see, these are no small things, but they are psychological things inherent in our nature. And third, when we decide to do this, then our body is not purified. So your stomach ache today, headache tomorrow, diarrhea third day. And so you will feel when the body is not well, I don't think you can concentrate on any work, let alone meditation, where concentration is more needed. But any work where there is not so much concentration needed, even that you will not be able to do properly when your health is not well. So all these things will come in our way. And Patanjali has mentioned these as the obstacles in the spiritual progress. Then, apart from the physical ailments, mental distractions and all that, what we worldly people experience, he has also mentioned that in sadhana, we are expecting that within 3 months I will reach samadhi. 3 months pass away. then you become perturbed. So he is mentioned, alabdha bhumikotvam, means not attaining the level which you thought you will attain within so much of period, such period of time, that frustrates you. That's also an obstacle. And mostly even aspirants leave halfway this sadhana because they are frustrated by this. That their expectation is, within 1 year I will become a Siddha yogi, then I will move here, show miracles and people will bow at my feet. So much big plan is in it. Now if that plan is not materialized, then naturally he loses interest. Then he will start abusing yoga. This is a useless thing. And it is good till he abuses yoga. Then he starts abusing yogis also. And lastly he will start abusing God also. That there is no God because I failed in realizing Him. So all these obstacles are of many different kinds. That is why I always say patience and perseverance. It may take not only a few years, more years, 1 birth, 5 births, 10 births, but persevere, then you will go through. That's what Lord Krishna also has told in Gita. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadite. Bahu, many, janma, birth, after many births, one man can attain this. So, if you say that in this birth and only in few years, I will do this, yes, short courses you can do in this world. There are many. 2 weeks course, 5 weeks course, 6 months course, 2 years course, 3 years degree course. But this is not a short course. It is pure lifetime course. If I advertise, come, I am teaching yoga. After 5 lifetimes you will become a yogi, I guarantee. I am sure nobody will seek admission. And I will not have to teach.
Now it is becoming more clear why you would mention that there must be proper guidance of a guru for one who decided to go on this path. Because even you cannot understand your own level of progress, yes, and need to seek some support from experienced teacher who would say, you're doing it properly, continue to do the same thing. Even it's happening for 10 years or 20 years,
yes,
you cannot jump over the progress. Somebody
there is no jumping over. As I told you, jumping over means remaining on the ground. And a small child can climb the steps, he will reach the 7th floor. And an athlete jumping straight to the 7th floor, he will go on jumping for lifetimes.
I met one yogi who is practicing for more than 20 years. So he's saying, now I'm practicing meditation and coming into samadhi very soon. And I asked, have you practiced asanas and pranayamas? He said, oh yes, yes. I practiced 3 years asanas, then I practiced pranayama 2 years, then I started doing pratyahara another 3 years, then I was doing dharana, and now I'm in samadhi on the 5th year. So soon...
See, in this yoga, once you enter the spontaneous, you are not to do anything. Happens. So if I say, I did first this, did that, nothing has happened to him. Understand like that.
So the mastery over asanas can only happen through spontaneous practice?
You are not to attain, it comes. Only progress on this. That is, I want to attain mastery over it. So an objective set.
Right.
Why don't you set an objective, I want to know God? Until I know that, I am not a yogi. Then everything is safe.
So Guruji, do you understand?
So Lord Krishna says, do the karma without expectation of the result. Otherwise you will be tired and frustrated.
Did I understand you correctly that only through the spontaneous practice of asanas there would be mastery over the asanas, not otherwise? Willfully you cannot master.
No. Willfully is strengthening your prana so that it is just fueling, you see. Travel has not begun. We want to go from here to Delhi by car. So first we will have to see that our motor car tank is full of petrol. So just we are filling up the petrol at the gas station. And we say we are doing sadhana. No, we are just fuel. So skillful practice is fueling the tank. Once that is ready, full, then spontaneous sadhana. But whether your tank is full or not, who will decide? Not Sergey. Sergey is Guru, will decide. The Guru knows anybody wants to go on this path, he will say, bring your car. I will see how much fuel is there in it. If not, then he will say, do this willfully, practice this and your fuel will increase. That fuel cannot be purchased by money. In the world, fuel can be purchased by money. And we know what is the time taken in fueling.
5 minutes.
5 minutes at the most, if you have money in pocket. Fuel is available. Here it is not so. Your money power cannot purchase this fuel. You have to produce the fuel by your own effort. That is willful practice. You see, when you get all these things cleared, then only you will understand what really yoga practice is. And it is necessary to clear up all these doubts.
Which probably not the impediment.
Probably many people can't end their doubts even in the present life. There is the need of progress in the present life. That's why, like Maidas who jumped into that well, was intelligence.
Now it's quite clear, Guruji, about the practice of asanas and how seriously we should take it up and not think that after sitting in Padmasana or coming on the head, we already mastered the whole thing. Be more realistic in regards to the...
You see, because the scriptures exist, translations are available. Those are sold in the market and everybody can purchase, everybody can read it. But because they read and understand themselves after reading what it means, so doubts are like definitely going to arise. Then they should be solved. By reading the scriptures, if one thinks I have understood everything, that's wrong. Even the greatest scholars, even the person who has translated the scriptures may not be understanding real yoga because they are scholars translating. It's a language, knowledge of language that they have, but not of yoga sadhana. That is why in our scriptures everywhere it is written that we write all these things. But if you want to genuinely to know it from the mouth of a guru. They use this word. Why from the mouth of a guru only? Why can't you contact the author himself? Those translators you go and contact. If they pose to be knowing yoga, they are only translators. But if they pose like that, and you believe in him, your fate is linked with his fate. If he is going to be drowned, how can you swim? That is why Guru is one who has practiced and realized that state, then he can guide you properly. And then you are not to doubt about Guru's teaching. He has gone through all these stages. He knows when to go where, how one progresses, what are the difficulties encountered on the way. So he knows everything. But that must, faith in Guru, one must have. And that again is a matter of destiny, as I told. You can keep faith, but then your Guru may not be real Guru in the real sense. Then your fate is linked with him. And so, in our literature, everywhere it is mentioned. Even sometimes you will see in the schools or some places, quote on the wall, Guru vina gnan nahi. Without Guru, no knowledge. Worldly knowledge may be by reading books, but in the spiritual path, no knowledge, real knowledge, true knowledge, without Guru.
Thank you very much, Guruji. I feel very, very fortunate finally to find you.
So then you will be, when you practice it properly according to what I guide you, then you will be really fortunate. Till then you feel fortunate. To be more fortunate, one must practice. Of course, finding a good Guru is a matter of fortune. But after finding a good Guru, if you don't practice, it is misfortune. It is said in English too, you can take horse to a water pond, but you cannot make it drink. So horse has come to the water pond, but now it is up to horse whether to drink water or not. One cannot make it drink. Understanding is very easy. For 15 days that you will be in India, you are full of renunciative ideas. Full of ideas that, oh, I want to practice this and I want to be yogi. But the day you land in Moscow, that, oh, reserve those thoughts for India, your new thoughts. That is the weakness of human mind.
You're tired of that now.
Huh?
You don't want it anymore.
I can only say, let us see within few months. Roger, thank you very much for answering our questions.
Okay.
It was very, very instructive.